Remember back in grade school when you used to trade lunches with your buddy and sometimes you get something great and sometimes you actually got kind of gypped? Well, what about when you trade in your boat? Stick around to find out what to expect for trade values and how to maximize yours on today's video. Hi, I'm Sean from Cove Lessons in Boating. If you already own a boat and you're thinking about your next boat, one of the questions that you have to answer is, should I trade my boat in to a dealer or should I sell my boat privately and then just pay for cash? And one thing that would be handy to know is what's really a fair trade value when your dealer offers you one. Like any other motorized vehicle, a car, a truck, an RV, or an ATV, boats depreciate and they go down in value over time. Every once in a while you get a weird blip like a pandemic, or you get an interest rate or an exchange rate fluctuation, which can bump used boat values slightly higher than when you pay for them. But for the most part, they go down over time. However, unlike any other motorized vehicle, usually boats have the slowest depreciation curve and hold their value the longest, which makes them for a great expenditure on recreation. However, over time, you're going to lose some value, and when you go to sell that or trade it in, you're going to have to A, expect some depreciation, and B, when you're trading it in, the dealer you're going to trade it to is going to want to make a small amount of profit from that transaction. So we're going to go over some of the things that impact it and what may be a fair trade value based on the current market. What you see people asking for your boat or a similar boat online is not really necessarily what it's worth. A, they may not get that for the actual sale. People tend to ask all kinds of different pricing. I'll see the same boat online that I'd price at $50,000 and I'll see it at 40 and I'll see it at 70, and they're really exactly the same boat. And that's just people in the market trying to get as much as they can, or they need to move it quickly. So a dealer is going to look at more real data to figure out what that boat actually sells for. They're going to look at things like Yacht World, they're going to look at JD Power, they're going to look at their own past sales and have access to all that information and be able to know within reason how much your boat will get in today's market. Most dealers will try to flip a used boat within 90 days. So depending on the time of year as well, that may influence the value of your trade at that time. Once a fair value is found for your boat, and you can look that up on JD Power. It used to be called NADA or NADA, but if you go to JD Power/boats, you can put in your make, your model, your year, and all the options that are included on your boat and whether it includes a trailer or not, and get a value of retail. And it'll give you three things. It'll give you a listing price, it'll give you a low retail, and an average retail. The one in our market that we use most commonly is average retail. And in Canada, of course, on the JD Power site, we have to also factor in exchange rate. Between Canada and the US dollar, we don't change it up and down every time it moves. We pick something that is relatively stable compared to the daily rate, because used boat values, of course, don't go up and down every day with the exchange rate, but they will ebb and flow with it. So you can go ahead, put that into JD Power and get a good baseline for what you think that boat will sell for on the market today. Bear in mind that a lot of the things that are listed as options were actually standards on your boat. So your boat may have come with standard GPS or digital throttle, or it may have come with standard extended swim platform or stereo or various things. So don't add in all the equipment that it had. What you add in when you're trying to get the value is anything that was over and above the base boat at the time of production. Once you have a reasonable retail price for your boat and what you think it will actually sell for, then you're going to take into consideration what the dealer needs to make for a profit margin in order to successfully run their business. And you'll find that most dealers will try to get between 10 and 25% margin for a used boat. I would say the average in the industry is somewhere around 17 to 18%. And when you think about that, It sounds like a big number, but you factor in the fact that they're going to take all the risk in how that boat operates for the new buyer. They're going to likely have to perform some service on it, for sure, at least clean it and give it a tune-up. They're going to have to inventory it for a length of time, which may be up to a year or more. So they're taking significant risk and cost associated with it, and you don't have to. So one of the benefits of trading versus selling privately is that you don't have to take the risk of payment on time and fraudulent payments. You don't have to worry about people's identification, people knowing where you live, who you are, and certainly just the time involved in placing an ad, answering phones and emails, setting up appointments, showing the boat, and eventually going through the transactional process and making the paperwork makes trade look more attractive. Depending on where you are in the world, you may also get a benefit from trading insofar as a tax savings. In our area in Ontario, Canada, you would take the value of the trade off the new boat or new to you boat that you're purchasing and only pay tax on the difference between the two. And in our case, that's 13% benefit. So when you look at how much they're giving you less on trade than it is at retail, you factor in the time, energy savings, the hassle, and the potential tax savings, you start to see why a trade can sometimes be very attractive. It's definitely the easy button. Sometimes as well, a dealer should be able to get a little bit more than you can privately because they'll have their reputation, their service behind it. Potentially they'll offer a used warranty, and they'll be able to offer financing on that unit for a potential buyer. All of those things make usually dealership used boats slightly more expensive than private sale used boats, and that differential plus all the other things will really make trading potentially very attractive. If you want to know more about the true cost of boat ownership, including the depreciation, check out this video here. So margin is different than markup. You may want to Google what margin is on a $50,000 boat at 18%, or there are actually apps that you can download that can do it for you. So when you're going to make a trade, go in with your eyes wide open, make sure you get a fair deal, but don't over expect anything because the dealership needs to make money. Just like your buddy wanted to get a good peanut butter sandwich when he traded in school, your dealership is going to want to get a little bit of peanut butter and jam too. Thanks for joining us on today's Cove Lessons in Boating. Please like this video and subscribe for more. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you out on the water.